The playoffs for IEM Cologne have officially started, and we've already had a really big upset because SAW just took down FaZe in the quarterfinals of this event. Now, for some of you guys, this could be the first time that you're ever hearing of SAW. Maybe you heard of them earlier this event when they 2-0 G2, but I'd like to go ahead and highlight this game that they just played versus FaZe, and I want to take a look at if SAW just played really good or if FaZe kind of dropped the ball a little bit, and we'll get right into that right after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you could trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. Alright, so here we are. It's going to be map 1 of this best of 3. This is of course Inferno, and I wanted to take a look at UNTHINKABLE in particular and kind of talk about how I think he's kind of the highlight player, at least he was in this series for the SAW team, and we're going to do that for Inferno. But after we look at this guy's POV from Inferno, I actually want to go on to the map that they closed the series on, which is Nuke, and I want to kind of look at how everything comes together in that third map. That will be more of a team review on the third map, so you're actually getting a 2-for-1 in this one. So first we're going to look at this UNTHINKABLE guy on Inferno, and then after we're gonna go ahead and look at the team on Nuke, because yeah, you know, I'm giving you guys the content today. All right, so we're gonna start by skipping the pistol round. They actually lose the pistol, and they do lose the second round as well here. So off the back of this round, UNTHINKABLE is going to save this M4, and that is going to be really important because if you watch the game live, you might know that they whipped out this really cool boost after. Now in CSGO, we used to use this boost on Inferno quite a bit. Back then though, it used to be a one way to see over that smoke that you might throw at your feet here. Now while he's up here, Frozen's actually going to walk right into him. Of course UNTHINKABLE drops after that, and he gets ready to push. He wants to get that gun that just got dropped by Frozen for his teammate. But the problem is that while he's walking up, he actually gets through the smoke, but Kerrigan gives a sound cue right here that he's throwing a nade, so UNTHINKABLE figures, well, you know what, I'll just peek him too. Now I don't know if it's necessarily a mistake from Kerrigan, but it definitely wasn't a good choice because now they're in a 5-on-3 situation. This save gun has been paying off so far, and eventually he's going to come back into B. Now the call ends up, you know, they're coming back to B. UNTHINKABLE is here just in time, and he's going to shift into this coffin position here, and he has a little bit of a gap in the smoke to see 2 more. Now I'm not so sure what's going on here. It looks like FaZe missed the smoke, and it could have cost them the round, and it actually does. It actually does. It's the first round for SAW. Now, I do have my notepad. By the way, I figure I might as well show you guys this. I have an entire notepad because I know some people probably don't believe, but there's a notepad full of everything that I want to talk about here. So take it like kind of a script, like a low-key script, and I'm going to be kind of skipping around through this demo review, and then we're going to be skipping around on Nuke as well, but I do have everything that I want to talk about written out beforehand. Now on round 4, I want to talk about how they lost because of that save gun, and you know, since their money gets reset, now Kerrigan wants to go for something fast. He has a set strat in mind. Now this set strat is going to be an ARAP, as you can see here. Now, one of the things that I really like about SAW is that they have clearly talked about everything that they want to do beforehand. And what I mean by that is that this is how it goes if you're in theory. Hey guys, if we're playing against a force buy, what do we think the best way to play that is? Well, the way that they think the best way to play it is to take banana and then play out of bracket. Well, this area right here is called bracket. I'm going to refer to it as that for the rest of the review, so you know, be careful. They're going to play out of bracket because it could be easy to get swarmed in bracket if somebody comes out boiler, somebody comes out mid, they could smoke off one of the sides, break your crossfire. So they're like, you know what, let's play back. We're playing mini and big, and we're also playing in library. Now this is a setup that they're going to run a few times in this game, but I think that in this instance it's the best choice because what exactly is Kerrigan calling? Well, he's actually calling for an arch trap here. I think that's what it is. Or sorry, not an arch trap. That's round 10 later. We'll get to that. No, this is actually the lane hit. And now the reason it's also good for them to come back and play far is because if they do go for a play like this, which by the way, look at the smoke that they threw. Kind of cool. They smoked off pit. Well, the problem is that it doesn't really do anything because you still have to deal with the double pit players. So Mutrus, I probably said his name wrong, is going to step out here and he's going to get this kill along with his teammate Arrows. Going to take down 2, and they pretty much just deal with this hit. Now, I'm not saying that this hit was bad from FaZe. It's just I think Saw handled this really well. I like the idea from carrying it. I also really respect the setup for the CTs. Everything here seems pretty normal, and that's just around. Now, you might be curious why I'm looking at the A guys when I did say that this was going to be a U-Jerks demo review, and that's just because I kind of want to manage both somehow. I want to highlight this specific individual, but I also kind of want to talk about the entire team because there's a lot to talk about. So we have this round here, and U-Jerks is going to help his team take B, and he's eventually going to rotate into Arch. Now, this position that he's playing here is new to CS2, but it is really good. A nice off angle here. If people want to clear Arch and then they go to clear library, they're going to get caught in the middle here, and this angle is also just really nice in general, just clean off angle, and he's going to sit here and hold this. You see a lot of tier 1, tier 2 players are playing here. Look at that arch smoke from FaZe. This is one that allows you to lurk into that cubby, by the way, just in case you didn't know about that. It's kind of new meta again for CS2. A lot of new things in here, and we have the hit coming in for the boys on FaZe. Now, I'm going to go over here and show you what's going on. So what's happened here is Arrows has mollied the front of site. This is really good because during the A hit, obviously, they want to come into the site because that's where you're going to break the crossfire, you're going to kill the site players, and you're going to plant. The problem is that this crossfire is really hard for them to break. It's really hard, and it doesn't get any easier because right here Rain is about to throw the smoke. Hold on, which number is Rain? He's number 8. Rain's about to throw a smoke onto this molly here, and he already did. Now, the problem with this smoke that he's thrown is, well, unfortunately, this is actually a defensive smoke that sometimes the CTs will throw. So if they ever know that there's a hit coming in, sometimes the CTs will smoke this. That way they can hold on to the site. It kind of becomes like a little wall on the site, and it's a lot harder. Now, at the expense of this smoke, they do break the crossfire with their other player, which kind of leaves him on an island, but it does help them hold the site, and if the Ts want to plant on default, they have an easy spam, and if the Moto player rotates in, it stops him from getting instant killed from a lane player, and he might even be able to get into the back of site, and we can make another crossfire. So the problem with the smoke that was just thrown is that it actually kind of helps the CTs a little bit more, but yeah, so look at that. Another cool detail. Arrows doesn't get spotted right away and actually buys enough time for Mutris to reestablish that crossfire with him so they get a clean trade. Now they're up. We're going to go back to U-Jerks, who is going to come through the Moto smoke off of this little flash he's throwing for himself. All right, well, flash, but contact mostly from his teammate. Once his teammate starts shooting, he's going to come through. Here he is, and he gets the kill. Perfect rotate, really well played from the Saw guys, but more importantly, I'm starting to wonder, like, that was it actually worth it for the timing? Because, like, they didn't just smoke the molly because he's a noob. He smoked the molly because if they wait the molly out, then they lose their timing and the rotates come in. But if you smoke the molly, you give them a site smoke, which is objectively worse for you. Even though you can isolate the player in towards balcony, which they didn't do in time anyway, you're still kind of just making it a fortress on the A site. So I'm not really so sure how I feel about that, but regardless, we go on to the next one. Now, U-Jerks isn't the only person on Saw that plays B. Of course, we also have his teammate Roman, who likes to play here with him occasionally, and one of the things that they're going to do this round is Roman is going to get in front of half wall. As you can see here, after the first initial mollies come down, we get the smoke, we get another deep molly to make sure nobody's in one of the cubbies down there, and then Roman is actually going to jump in front of the half wall here. And now the reason this is so strong is because you're not fully committing down into banana where you can get spammed. Think about this. If we come down here and we're running in this line, well, Frozen and Brokey and whoever else could be there is going to spam this line. That's just how it works, right? They're spamming down, they're trying to stop them from taking car, banana, I should say. But by hiding in front of half wall, they actually can kind of get banana, but without being in the line of the spam. And this cubby in front of the half wall has actually been buffed in CS2 as well. As you can see, it takes a lot to actually get out here all the way and see him. It's kind of weird that it's just shaped weird, but he can play in front of this smoke. Now, what's going to happen is U-Jerks is going to also support him while this is going on, and because of a bad molly thrown by Frozen, U-Jerks is going to be able to step behind the car smoke and spam for him, but this is also a perfect bait, because if you think about it from Frozen's perspective, he's like, well, okay, I missed my molly, but at the very least, I know that he can still be car, probably shouldn't be down banana, right? So he comes through, he's going to spot U-Jerks, but because he spots U-Jerks, there's no world that he's expecting Roman in front of the half wall, and so Roman will be able to take him down. Now, this is not necessarily a round from U-Jerks that's like crazy, but the setup from them at B, there's just two people here. They didn't throw like a crazy, like, pop flash with a molly nade stack. They didn't do anything crazy. He just stepped in front of Frozen's molly, and then Udrix disrespected the miss molly, and then they just take banana. And so now we have a 5-on-3, and all this is just a confidence play from Saw. It looks like they're just playing face it pugs right now. That's really what it looks like. They're like, you know what, we're playing these guys. We don't really care. We don't know who they are. Yeah, I'm gonna peek his molly. Wait. We're on stage at Cologne right now? There's 1,000 people watching us in front of me? Whatever. Now the rest of round number 8 kind of just fizzles out for FaZe, and we go into round number 9. Now this is not going to be a round that I'm highlighting Udrix in particular, but rather I'd like to look at this setup that they do in halls. So FaZe go for something different. They want to do a halls play. Now, Story is going to step in here with the op and post towards long hall, pretty standard, but while he's doing that, he's actually going to have his teammate, which is Arrows, come in, stand behind him to hold through this door. Now, the reason this setup is so strong is because if somebody walks out the bedroom, they're going to get destroyed, but if somebody comes up the steps here, they're going to peek into Story, and they never actually see both of them. Because of the way that this works, they don't ever really see both of them at the same time. So what will probably happen most of the times this setup gets ran is somebody will die to the opper, and then the person that makes their way into bedroom is going to step out to try to trade the opper right away, and they're going to run into Arrows. That's normally how it goes. So let's keep watching how it goes, how it plays out in this match. So we have somebody in bedroom. We got a silent boost going on, so they don't actually know he's in here. Silent boost is super meta in CS2 anyway, so they plan for that. And Rain walks in, gets handled. Brokey's in halls with the op, so he walks out, hits the leg. Unfortunately, it's a little, too late for him. Arrows is going to take him down. Now, because of that, Rops decides to send it through the mid smoke, but that's where the last piece of the puzzle is waiting for him. Mutrus is standing there to make sure nobody could do that, and then now Kerrigan, who still, by the way, hasn't seen the opper, is going to walk into long haul because they only ever saw Arrows, like I said, and Kerrigan walks in for a late lurk / trade and gets opt. Oh, well, now the round's just over, and it's just Frozen alive left, and it's just GG. Now we're on another half by here because of the crazy round we just had before, and FaZe is going to go for another set piece here, which is going to be an R-trap. Now, earlier, I said round number 10 is going to be another round where they start with these really good protocols. So like I said, versus the half by, we've already discussed. They want to play double pit, they want to play library. And you might think, but Austin, if they always play that way, isn't it easy to counter? Not really. I mean, what are you going to call? You're going to call a halls pop? You're going to call an arch run? No, you can't. I mean, well, you can't even just call an A exec. They're in the best spots and you don't have enough guns to stop them. That's why it's so strong. I mean, so I guess we could just go B. Yeah, I guess, but you still have to deal with the fact that they took banana already. Like, it's a really strong way to play. It's hard to counter this. So we have this round again. They're going for an R-trap. Udrix is rotating because they took banana control. Now, he's actually made his way here just in time to spam the smoke as they're running. He finds one onto Kerrigan. Now, this double pit setup is incredibly strong, like I said before, and they have enough time to pretty much just do whatever they want. By the way, while Mutrus was holding Moto for him, he was allowed to go for that pick towards lane, and look at this. It's all just going wrong. There's nothing really that is going right for FaZe in this round, and it's just domination. It really is. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool. Udrix gets one more. And yeah, we go on to round number 11. Now, again, like I said, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about both sides in this game and say, well, did FaZe drop the ball or did Saw just play really good? Well, I actually think that this is one of the best calls I've seen from Kerrigan in recent memory. This is a round where we know kind of how the game has been going. There's a lot of conditioning going on that I haven't really been discussing. There's a lot of things going on that kind of tell Kerrigan that eventually they're going to put a 3B setup. Now, this is a big swing round, a big gun round. If, FaZe win this round, they can get back into it. If Saw win this round, they're running away with the game. So, because of that, it's very likely Saw is going to go for something more set towards B since they've been playing only 2 there. Now, Kerrigan knows this because of the information Frozen's been telling him throughout the rest of the game. And because of that, he just decides that this round, he knows that since there's probably 3B, that means that there's not going to be an arch player in the beginning of the round, more than likely. This is a risk that Kerrigan takes. He smokes off lane, runs through the molly, and he gets up here and Rain's right behind him. Now, this is really strong because he was right. By the way, he was right. Not only was there 3B, but there was 4. And he finds his way into CT here. Now, watch this. Frozen spams Roman, and then, right here, Kerrigan is going to find Mutrus. Well, here's the thing. Mutrus is normally the guy that plays 3B with them. We saw the one round that they did do earlier. So there's a little bit of bad info here because now they think there's only one person B because why would there be 4, right? So Story's here, gonna get completely destroyed by Rain, and in the meantime, it's a little too late for our boy to get anything done, isn't it? Because he's getting pincered by Kerrigan and Rain, and you see a beautiful call and a beautiful execution from FaZe there. It was perfect. I actually really like that round a lot. Now, round number 12 is also really cool. So what's going to happen here is we're going to get an instant mid-smoke thrown by one of the guys on Saw, and then UJerks is going to throw this bottom banana smoke. Now, the beauty of this strat that they're doing is they're actually going to play 3 towards B, but because of that mid-smoke, Eros is actually going to run down mid. Now, this has not been done the entire game so far. They have done the smokes, but they have not actually committed down towards the bottom mid area. So he's going to sit here tucked in the cubby, and eventually Rain is going to walk, or I guess actually Rops is going to walk up and get caught off guard by Arrows' position. So now it is going to be a quick trade coming in from Rain, and that puts the FaZe guys in a pretty good position, all things considered. So let's watch how they play this 4v4. They're going to contact up Banana, and everything is looking pretty good so far. But the problem is that, as you can see, everybody's grouping up for this exec. We have a pretty big problem, which is that Frozen is about to peek in towards CT. Now, the Opera's here. I guess you could probably guess what happens next. And the problem with this is that off of Frozen's death, you're a little discombobulated here because you were trying to group up and execute. So Frozen peaked a little bit early. He does get the info, I guess, but you know, I guess it's not the end of the world, right? Frozen is the normal banana guy. I guess it could just be him going for a pick. The problem is that now they kind of have to speed up. So Kerrigan walks in, and where's the utility? What are the boys doing? They're still behind the smoke. Like, Kerrigan's like, yeah, all right, I've got the timing. I got Molly. I'm running through the Molly alone now, and I'm dead. Well, all right. It's a tough pill to swallow because now, like, look, Rain just watched. He's like, well, I was getting ready to throw this Molly, and now you're dead. And like, everybody, like, we could have just waited like half a second longer for the util. Like, I know it's not looking good, but at least give us that. And yeah, so, you know, eventually, all that being said, they do end up getting the bomb down on the site. And UJerks, who was the B player, is actually flanking from Banana. Now, I know we kind of lost track of him in all of this, but he ended up rotating back towards B, or sorry, back towards A, and then walked down mid, right? And he's here just in time, which makes it super silly because, well, how can you plan for the B player being flanking Banana? I mean, you really can't. So Rain goes down, and then, of course, Brokey gets spotted in towards Dark, missed the Molly, but it doesn't really matter, does it? And that's going to be 8 rounds for Saw on CT side. All right, so I've gone ahead and skipped a handful of rounds. Of course, we did see the pistol and the full eco won by Saw, but then business as usual. First gun round FaZe win. They also win the second round that was bought as well. They're actually back in the driver's seat. Like, if we just watch the comeback that we just saw the other day, link in the top right of your screen if you'd like to have a look, you know, FaZe versus Liquid, this is kind of how they start stringing rounds along. They're used to being in positions like this. It's kind of just how FaZe are sometimes. So they should be in control. Now, the problem is that they let them back into the game because they lose this round where Saw is kind of just forced up. Not the most convincing buy I've ever seen. They have 2 Mac-10s, a Deagle, and an AK and a Galil with 3 smokes, 1 flash, and a Molly. Not the best buy that you could have going into a round like this. But the problem is that they should know, and by they, I mean FaZe, should know that this is a low buy. So, remember what I talked about earlier. How does Saw like to play against low buys? They like to have somebody in towards library. They have to have a mini pit and big pit, right? Then they take Banana and they rotate a 4th person over, right? That's their standard way of doing it. And the reason that they like to do that is because with these really bad guns, it is incredibly easy for people to walk up mid here and catch you guys off guard, like I said. So what happens? Swing past drops, and the trade is in. UJerks kills Rain, and all of a sudden, A site's completely open because they didn't play far back. And like I said, again, one of the problems with playing up close is that your crossfires can get broken, but if you lose bracket too fast, you actually don't have time to rotate. These guys are a non-factor in the rest of whatever happens at A. Brokey is in a 1-on-4 for like 20 seconds, and he's not going to win it. So they're going to just pounce on the site. They know that. Come in, UJerks with another, and just like that, the round is over. FaZe have to save. This is what I wanted to talk about. Like, again, we just saw a parallel round earlier where Saw did the same. They were playing as the same buy, and they just didn't play up. They made a point to not do that, by the way. We have 2 examples of them not playing up on these rounds, and that's exactly why. It's too easy for things to get out of control, and I'm not really a big fan of the way FaZe played this round, and I'm sure they're not either when watching in hindsight, but it's just rounds like this that you can't be losing. You just, like, those are supposed to be easy rounds, and you're just letting them slip through your fingers time and time again. And that's not even the only time that happens. When we go to Nuke, you'll see it happen again. Okay. Now we have another round here where we have an instant B exec. Now, I like this call from Saw. It makes a lot of sense because you know that you just won a round you shouldn't win. Money on FaZe is kind of rough, and you're going to just come up here and bully them. Now, in this instance, it's actually not going to go that well. Not at least right away. The exec comes in. Kerrigan's going to smoke them off. He's going to get behind the smoke, and he's actually, I will watch it from his perspective, he's actually going to get into a pretty good spot. The hit's coming in. He gets close on oranges, and he's going to find 2. Now, the problem is that even though he's found 2, his teammate Frozen is going to come through the smoke just a little bit too late after he dives, which normally would be fine. But the problem is that because he's late, he gets to the smoke, and it's already, well, it's too late, and he's going to go down for free. Now, it was a 4-on-3, and he probably didn't have enough time to cancel that he was running through the smoke, but he's mistimed everything, and because of that, we have a 3-on-3, and they're going to go on to win this round because you've already lost backhaul control, we've already lost everything, and despite Rops' best efforts, you've also lost the round. So, you know, you just can't, it's really unfortunate to see something like that happen because Kerrigan gets 2, Frozen's too late through the smoke, and because this was a pop, the rotates take too long. So Frozen really needs to stay alive there. That's why on the notepad, if you did go back, I'm sure most of you guys probably paused to read what I wrote down. You see, on this run, I said Frozen trolls, but I don't mean that because he didn't actually troll, but he's the reason. If he would have came a little earlier, they would have won. If he would have just stayed behind the smoke and lived, they also would have won. So it's just unfortunate for him that that's not how things go. Now, realistically, for the last round, there isn't too much to say because of all the other rounds that FaZe have lost. They don't really have the best buy here, do they? 257s, 2 MP9s, and a scout for Brokey. So not that convincing, but I guess if there was a map to win a buy like this on, it would be Inferno with all the close range angles. But we'll just watch this from Udrix's POV, as we have been, and he's going to get a kill onto Frozen here. A nice little trade for him onto Mutris. They get granted top banana control, and everything's kind of going well. You know, they're probing into the B site here and kind of, you know, baiting out what little util FaZe have. And in the meantime, while they're making all this noise, Arrow is actually going to walk out long haul. Again, like I said, they know that they're not playing anything too crazy. They're not going to walk into an op. They're not going to walk into an M4. So he feels really comfortable just going and taking this fight because let's say by, you know, a miracle, FaZe find this kill onto Arrow. It doesn't really matter because the other 3 guys are still in banana and they can quickly just hit B 3-on-2 at worst and probably still come out on top because they have better guns. So it's not the worst thing in the world. And because Arrow does get this kill, he's also just going to find the site is free. Now we'll go back and watch Udrix. He's going to end up rotating back in. Of course, you know, he's right. They do have the site. And even though Brokey's, you know, kind of making it clear, hey, I'm shooting with a USP. I don't know, maybe a little bit of frustration from Brokey. I'm not really sure. Either way, off the back of him spamming like that, Story is just like, oh, really? Oh, for real, Brokey? We want to do that? And he just steps through and kills him, right? Anyway, with all that being said, we're going to get the 2-on-4. Not really too much to be said here. Udrix is going to take this pit position, and he's actually going to peek out. Going to find the first one onto Kerrigan, holds the spray, and takes down Rops. A really good map from him. As you can see here, we're going to look at it. It's 23-10 for Udrix. I would say the standout player for Saul, but to be honest, the entire team was doing really good, but Udrix in particular had a lot of high impact rounds, and this is just the first map though. This was just the first map. You know, these kind of things can happen to FaZe, and even though they definitely look shaky, FaZe definitely dropped the ball on a couple of rounds here. I still do think that Saul played really strong. I like their fundamentals on this map, and more importantly, I really like the way that Udrix and Roman were playing at B. But like I said, that was just the first map. So let's move on to the third map, which would be the decider on who's going to win this game. And I want to talk about a couple of the highlight rounds in that game and why I think that SAW is a team that you should be on your radar going forward from this event. Yeah, this part of the demo review is going to be for all the nerds because I'm going to sit here and break down all the strats, so get ready for a classic Austin CS Yap session. So here we are, third map. It's going to be Nuke, and we've already skipped a handful of rounds, but I don't really care about that. I just want to focus on the strategy of SAW. Now, this round is pretty good. So what's going to happen is we're on CT side. We're going to start Story with the op in towards lower. Pretty standard for an opper to start in towards lower. I really like this setup, but what I really like a lot more than that is the crossfire that they have from Mutrus and from Roman. Now, Roman's not here yet, but in a second, Roman's going to be making his way in towards Mini, and they're going to have a nice crossfire from Mini, or Main again if you're from EU, in back garage. Now, the reason that they do this is because it doesn't really matter. Let me just rewind so I have a clean map. It doesn't really matter if the outside smokes get thrown and people can go down into secret because we have our Opper there, and our Opper is, you know, he has the op, and it's pretty much a free kill, as free as you could get on anybody that goes down. So that's a 5-on-4 if they decide to go secret. In return, once they find out the Opper is lower, they're probably going to leave. And if they try to leave, they're going to try to wrap outside because the Opper can't play from these long range angles to deny us from taking outside like this, right? So the idea is to let them go secret, and then once they see the Opper, when they try to come up, they're going to walk into this crossfire of Roman and Mutrus, who are holding this line. And I basically just spoiled the entire round for you because that's exactly what happens. I mean, they play it down to a T. So let's just skip a few seconds ahead here. Whenever Story finds Rain, they've already gone down secret. Off the back of that, Brokey and Kerrigan, who has the bomb, by the way, are going to throw that smoke, which would smoke off the ramp player that would rotate in to help. They're also going to flash back garage because they are aware of that position being so meta, right? But what they aren't aware of is the fact that Roman is playing in this close mini position. So once once Roman takes contact, then Mutrus is going to peek. A small detail, he was actually tucked here because he got half blind, and then once Roman takes contact, now he's going to peek. Now he's going to peek. Finds the kill onto Kerrigan. Brokey's looking a little lost there, and he goes down as well. And more importantly, that's the bomb. And so that's the round. And this is a big round because, like I said, this is a gun round. Look, Saw just lost the last 2 rounds after winning Pistol. They need this round to get their footing on Nuke, and this is a very well-crafted round, and more importantly, a well-executed round from Saw. Now, in round number 8, we actually see another Kerrigan classic, which is that we're going to see a late round A-exec. So, what's happened? We've already seen a little bit of utility thrown from the FaZe guys, kind of just clearing out some of the annoying angles that they might have to play against in towards A. They threw a mini smoke, kind of faking like they might be doing an A hit, trying to burn smokes and trying to burn mollies from Saw. That's the entire idea, right? You can't hold off and execute if you can't molly stuff. You can't, you know, smoke yourself or smoke whatever. So they're trying to get that out of them at A, right? Very standard. Now, off the back of them burning this utility, what they want to do is Kerrigan and Rain are going to creep up mini, and they're going to try to go for an A split late. This normally would entail Rops flashing in towards Mini, so that way they can blind this guy so they can sneak in through this the smoke that has been thrown. This smoke that they used for the fake is now being used for the split because, well, it's just a mini smoke, right? That was a fake. Well, they're actually going to use it here, so get ready. They're creeping up, like I said, and there's the flash. Kerrigan flashes. Rain is going to sneak past into this mini smoke. Now he thinks that he's cooking right now. He thinks he's cooking, and they're gonna walk in. Now the smoke that they threw earlier for a fake, it lands just ever so deep enough to cover Roman in this angle. And Rain, like, you know, he is aware that that's possible, but after a certain point, you know, he comes in with Kerrigan, so the spacing is good. And because of that, there's a crazy timing given to Roman, who now is in mini, and he has 2 people not looking at him, right? You might have seen this round if you were watching it live and said, how did that happen? How could FaZe not check that? Well, actually, the smoke covers him perfectly, and to be honest with you, the timing was now. They have to go. They snuck past the person who was playing outside, which they didn't realize was the Opper, and that they actually didn't really care if they walked outside because they would have gotten killed by the Opper, and Mutrus isn't lower, so it doesn't, like, there's no gaps, but they think that they're catching a gap, right? That's why they have to go. It looks like they are, but they're not. And so Roman finds these 2 kills, and he gets immediately traded, and you're just gonna see, you know, the A side gets held. And more, one of my favorite things about the way that the Saw team plays is they play very disrespectfully. Check this out. So one of the things that they're going to do here is they don't want to give them any room to breathe. It's a concept I talked about the other day, which is like whenever someone's planting, they just swing out because it's a 1-on-3 in this instance, right? It's a 1-on-3. Look at this guy. Story's literally just saying, yeah, I'm jumping. He just jumps out. He doesn't even care because he's just a bullet sponge. He's got 1 HP, right? Well, if I get out, cool, I'm back sight. But if they shoot at me, it actually is going to draw their crosshair so you jerks can swing out. And that's exactly what happens, right? So they get out. Mutrus flies up the vent at the same time, and they're already all over. They're swarmed. They're swarmed. Look at this Rops guy. He has no idea how cooked he actually is, does he? They're all around him, and he has nowhere to go. And that's just the kind of disrespect you have to play with. Rops gets stuck on an island. Your jerk steps out, and he finds 2. there's the retake, another big swing round for the Saw guys. And I ask you, was it necessarily the fault of FaZe Clan for missing Roman in the smoke? I'm not so sure. This is a weird gray area where I think Saw got a little lucky, but I do think that when it came down into this 3-on-2, they played it perfectly to give them a 0% chance of winning. Because I know I didn't talk about this, but the second map of an Anubis, FaZe won a 2v4 and a 2v5 in really important rounds, which is pretty much the reason why Saw didn't 2-0 them. I know, right? I didn't cover that game. I was thinking about putting all 3 maps in, but those were really the only rounds I wanted to talk about. But yeah, and so you don't want to give FaZe a chance in those back against the wall 2vx situations, because there's a pretty good chance that they're going to win them. And of course, Saw would know that, wouldn't they? Based on what I just said. So there it is, another beautiful round for them. All right, round number 9, it's 4-4. This is probably the most important round of the game. And the reason that is because it's make or break money for both teams. Whichever team wins is going to send the other team into an eco, which means this is a 2-for-1 round. So this would be a round where you expect Kerrigan to go balls against the wall calling like he is known for, right? I mean, you think about the double mini drop that he called a few years back versus Navi in a best of 5 final. You know, that was a classic. So what do we expect from him this round? Well, I'm not sure, but for some reason, Brokey just randomly sends it out with no supporting utility. He just opens the door and he walks out here and he gets dealt with. Now, when I looked at this round a few times and I thought maybe I missed a flash, maybe I missed something. I didn't. They threw nothing but a top hut molly and Brokey just ran out the door. I'm not saying that it can't work, but it looks like I'm watching... I don't even know what it looks like I'm watching. I don't want to be that like rude, but it does look like I'm just watching noobs who don't know how to throw outside smoke, so they're just like, I'm gonna rush A. Well, do you know how to flash A? No. We'll just go out and see what happens. I'm not really sure, right? Now, and again, it could be something that I don't know. I'm sure it is something that I don't know. I'm sure it's something I wouldn't even begin to know, but I'm not really certain why this would be, because they're not actually capitalizing off of his death at all. And off of the back of Brokey's death, they're just kind of sitting there and being like, well, we're on a 4-on-5. What will we do now? They didn't have a plan. Like, they weren't like, oh, I got it. Brokey, you're going to run outdoor, and because you're running out like a psychopath, we're going to take a timing on the ramp guy because they're going to think they were A-rushing because you're... No, they did nothing. They didn't do any of that. And eventually they end up resetting. They throw outside smokes, and they end up coming back into lobby, and they're just still kind of chilling. You know, we have Rain out there doing his thing, and eventually... we gotta spam through the smoke. What even is this round? What is this round? None of it makes any sense. And like I said, it just, there was no direction. There is no direction in this round. And so it's not even Saw necessarily playing good. I mean, they didn't die to Brokey's push. They didn't lose to anything else that happens in the round. But I don't understand how a round like this is happening in the quarterfinals of Cologne. And it's getting played by FaZe. It's getting played by FaZe of all teams. Like, I could talk about this round for a long time, so I'm not going to. And that's it. That's the entire, that's it. That's the round. Ta-da. Look at that. Rops is going for a little swim. All right, so we're looking at round number 11 now. It's 5-5. Money is cooked for Saw. They're on the back foot for sure. This is where FaZe should be kind of taking control of the game and winning it, right? Now, they know that Saw doesn't have an op, so one of the things that you're going to want to do when you don't have an op is you want to fight outside. And because, like I said, you know, when you're wrapping outside, you're not going to have to deal with those long-range fights, so it makes a lot of sense. We're going to speed it up a little bit. Eventually, they're going to sneak into garage. They're going to smoke off mini right here. Smoke off mini. They're going to smoke off lockers, and they're going to creep out here and take this map control, like I said. Now, this is a really well-played round from Saw. Even though a lot of people might at first say that FaZe just threw this round, it's actually just really well-played from Saw. So they know, and by they I mean Saw, know that by holding on to this area of the map, this area where Story and U-Jerks is holding on to, you're kind of denying FaZe from getting what they want. Well, they want to take this area of the map so that they can go either up through Heaven to A or go through J-Hall to ramp, right? But if you hold on to this room right here, you can use your guns that aren't that great and put up a pretty good fight. And that's what they're going to do. So they're going to put up a little fight here. Eventually Story is going to go down, which, you know, maybe I wouldn't have swung that hard to commit to the fight. Off the back of that, though, Drops is going to activate. It makes sense for him to activate at this timing, but Arrows is still on top of Silo, and that's the angle that I always talk about being overpowered, because it's a one-way angle. You can't see them, but they can see your feet. And he's still there. He knows. Look at this. He knows that they could be walking into mini. He doesn't have a teammate here. He knows that they could walk outdoor. He doesn't have a teammate there, but he still just stays up here anyway because he understands that if he moves, it's no chance in winning the round. So he takes a calculated gamble, finds the lobby lurk. Again, we're playing FaZe, so we know it's Rops on the lobby lurk, and that's probably it. And off the back of him finding that, he's really comfortable to know that it's probably clear in towards lobby, right? Well, off the back of Rops' death, Rain is going to meet his untimely demise from UJerks, and UJerks is going to swing out here to fight Frozen. Now he's going to spot Brokey and Frozen, and this is where the funny happens because Brokey is going to hit a really crazy shot onto his teammate. Unlucky, but the problem is that even though if Brokey wouldn't have killed Frozen, they're still probably not going to win this round because let's say best case, they end up going for an A split here. Well, Frozen might slip the net from Roman coming up secret, but Brokey with the bomb is most certainly not going to. And Arrows is in hut, so if they try to come in through mini, he has a good spot. And if they try to go J-Hall to ramp, well, Mutrus is here with a gun. And he's probably going to find a kill because he can pick any spot here and get at least one. They're not in a great position here. They're really not. And even though Brokey did kill his teammate, he's in trouble because Roman's already here. He takes him down, and that's going to be the round. So I really like the way that Saw played this round. A lot of discipline from Arrows to not over-rotate and stick to his guns, and also really well played from Saw to just understand that fighting for this part of the map is more important than trying to get a cheeky kill, like let's say in Garage, because this is not really that important at the end of the day, is it? I also do think it's worth mentioning that Robs was playing really aggressive in this game for no particular reason other than what I can only assume to be some sort of prep that he did beforehand, because this is actually the second round. I didn't include the first round, that he just walks through the ramp smoke. Not quite sure why he's done it. He doesn't find a gap at all. He gets into this little corner here, and eventually UJerks is going to take him down. So, like I said, I don't know if this is prep work. I don't know what this is. I don't know if Rops is switching up his style. Stylistically, Rops is one of those guys that takes forever because he's very patient, and in this game, he was going very quick. And I don't know if that's, like I said, prep or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he felt like he needed to make a difference in this game. Not sure. Good awareness from UJerks to catch him though, regardless. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the round kind of just plays itself. FaZe ended up going lower, no gaps, not a lot to talk about. Just kind of wanted to bring up the Rops thing because I found it very weird in this match that he was playing so differently. This is another round that you've probably seen already. This is going to be 7-7. Big round here for both teams yet again, because again, FaZe is coming off the back of winning the pistol and the full eco. They have a little bit of a bonus round, don't they? 2 MP9s with plenty of money if they were to lose this round to buy next round. So, back against the wall for Saw. They need to win this round. What do you call if you're Mutrus here? I think he's the IGL. I just kind of said that. It sounded right, didn't it? What you call a ramp contact, because you know what? We know that they still have MP9s. Let's go take advantage of that. So, Rops is here. He's got that MP9. They try to bully him. He gets 2. Okay, not great so far, but maybe it's not the end of the world because we are going to get the bomb site at the very least. So they're going to go down in towards lower. Going to get the bomb planted, and everything's going to start to fall apart here. Story is going to go down, and now it's in a 1-on-4 situation for Mutrus. Now remember, this is Counter-Strike, and these kind of rounds can sometimes just be won by individual skill. And this is one of those. So it's a 1-on-4. Like I said, I gave you all of the backstory as to why this round is important, and Mutrus steps up. He's going to isolate the fights. First of all, Frozen doesn't come close to trade with Brokey, but that's fine. In a 1-on-4, we found him. That's the most important thing. Now, we have 3 players that we can coordinate a peek with, right? So all we need to do is just make sure that he can't isolate our fights, make sure we're on each other, and we win this clutch. So he gets the first kill. Now Frozen wants to go trade him. He thinks he has a good timing. Gets 2 shots off on him, but I think he went a little too early. It's not like Mutrus can get away. I mean, his teammates quite literally have him pinned down. He can't really get out. So it wasn't like time was, of the issue here. So Mutrus gets a 2K, but he's still pretty much not going to win this clutch because, right, surely Kerrigan and Rain, 2 of the most experienced players that are still playing CS to this day, surely they know that if they just group up, they win this, right? Mutrus jiggling back and forth, really good angle isolation, trying to just isolate. I use that word a lot in clutches because it's really what you're trying to do. You don't want to take a 2v1, you want to take a 1v1. He's trying to find them, doesn't really know that they're both there yet. You can see he's still worried, but I think he realizes at a certain point here that somebody probably would have peeked him from double if that was where they were coming from. So he ends up hearing both And he hears Kerrigan's steps and sees Rain shoot him. Now he knows where both of them are, and he's trying to, again, take a duel on one at a time. Kerrigan, for some odd reason, decides at this moment to hard swing left. Mutrus, insane correction, gets the kill onto Kerrigan. Now it's a one-on-one. Time still not too bad. Rain jumps up here to try to get the headshot angle onto him, and Mutrus, he's going to go back and forth here. Rain can still see him. Trying to tap away. The one tap comes in, and that's a beautiful 1v4. Now, did FaZe make mistakes there? 100%. Was it an insane clutch? Yes. Should it ever have happened anyway, even though FaZe made mistakes? No. That's Counter-Strike for you. Now I'm going to actually play this one again in real time. That's how good it was. A lot of people get upset that I pause so much when I'm doing demo reviews, and they want to see the round play out in real time. So here you go. Here's the 1v4 one more time. You can kind of see it wasn't as egregious. You know, things are happening very quickly when I'm not pausing. So it does get a little bit more understandable how this can get out of hand quickly. Really good clutch. And by the way, insane clutch. Surely we take a timeout here. Look at the money. You should take a timeout here. This guy needs to calm his nerves, right? No. Nah. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. You win a 1v4 as underdog, rock FaZe. You need to pause probably to even talk about what you want to run, because the money's still not great. No, let's just go right into an A rush. Wait, what? Okay, so they're already coming out hut. Here they come. They've decided to just go for an A rush, flash through the mini smoke, catches him off. Udrix finds the guy in towards the rafters. Oh my goodness me. Just like that, I feels like I snapped my fingers and FaZe lost a 1v4 and they're already saving in another round. How did this even happen? That's how things can get out of hand. And I can't tell you how much I respect the fact that they don't call a timeout and just go right into an A rush. They know that FaZe is shook. They know it, and they have to pounce on it while it's fresh. They know it. If they call a timeout, Kerrigan's going to give one of his speeches. Guys, it's okay. It happens. No. Fuck that. We're going to run in here. We're going to win this round. We're winning the game right now, and I love that. Okay, so we skipped a handful of rounds. FaZe won one back, but basically Saw is in the driving seat now, and for round number 20, this is a big round. What they want to do is they're going to try to send Roman down the vent. Now he's going to make it down, but unfortunately somebody already started lower, so by the time he gets down here, Rops is going to be waiting for him and he will take him out. Now 4-on-5, what do you want to call here? Well, it's pretty straightforward. If you want me to tell you the truth, it is pretty straightforward. You need to just group up and make something happen, and they're going to throw outside smokes and they're going to make their way down. Molly's secret, by the way, even though they're going secret, and the reason they do that is to make sure Rops can't intercept them, right? If Rops, since they know he's down there, were to step up and fight them while they're in the open here, it delays them for people to spam. It delays them for the smokes to get naded. It delays them for a lot of things. So that Molly is just to keep him away while they cross. Here they go. They're going to go 4 down, just kind of leading the way. Rops, in the meantime, has completely left. So that's kind of insane. He was lower. Now he's hiding back ramp. Maybe a little bit of a blunder from FaZe, because I know that they know that Saw knows that Rops is down B, but should he have left? Now we have 4 people down secret. I really respect this call. We're going to watch this from Arrow's POV, creeping around here, and eventually we're going to get the spacing that we need. We're going to get down. We're going to open up this door here. Rops is going to reveal himself, finds U-Jerks. Nice kill from Arrow. Kerrigan drops down the vent. Swings out. Arrow gets a second kill. Not quite done yet. 3-on-3. This time Rain goes silently because he knows what just happened to his teammate. Mutrus finds one onto Brokey. In the meantime, Arrow jumps in the vent, misses it, gives a sound cue. Now Rain immediately whips around. He knows he has a good chance to kill Arrow. I feel like I'm breaking this one down like a commentator. Arrow spots him on that. Rain, accidental jiggle, running gun from Arrow. Okay, now this guy's gotten a 3K. It's just already over. It's already over, and Frozen's left alone. He has no choice but to save. Wow. What a round. And is it FaZe outplaying themselves? Why does Rops leave? I don't know. All I know for sure is that I really like the way that Saw played that. Off the back of losing their initial player, they just group up, 4 go secret, and they catch FaZe cheating Rops off of lower. And that's exactly how you win these kinds of rounds. And by the way, Frozen goes down in the end, doesn't he? Now, we are still playing FaZe Clan, and I've already said that once. I'm going to say it again. And it wouldn't be FaZe if they didn't stage a little comeback here. All right, so let's skip ahead to the inevitable comeback. They go into overtime. Now, in the other comeback that I did, FaZe versus Liquid, I talked about this really interesting phenomenon that seems to happen, which is whenever a team chokes overtime. So before I said Liquid lost like 10 rounds in a row, they immediately win that first round of overtime. This time, Saw couldn't close. Well, what happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. You already are guessing. Where is he? U-Jerks. Yes, they're just going to pull this one back. Now, U-Jerks kind of takes this one into his own hands. He's going to make his way down lower. Now, this was what they won their last round with, by the way, which is why I think a similar call is coming out. U-Jerks is going to step out here. They have kind of trapped Frozen. They know he's got to be there. Mollies him out. If you don't think he had to peek, he definitely did, because he would have died if he went back into single. U-Jerk steps out, clears the site, finds a nice adjustment onto Rops, and the round is pretty much won. 3-on-4, they still have to go for this phase. They have enough money to buy, so they're going to try their best. Rain creeps through the smoke, gets taken down. Still looks a little sus there, doesn't it? I mean, 1-on-2 now for Brokey. Bomb to be going down any second here, and eventually U-Jerk spots him out. Pretty much no chance for Brokey to win this one now, and eventually he is going to go down any second. There it is. U-Jerks with a nice 4K. But again, I just wanted to highlight that phenomenon. I thought it's kind of funny that the team that chokes always wins the first round of overtime, it seems like. At least 90% of the time, 95 even, I'd be willing to bet. There has to be something. It's like a psychological thing. I'm telling you, I'm not even just saying that to say, like, I'm 100% sure. Now, the thing I really like about overtime is teams like to do the same things that they did in regulation, but with a small little tweak on them. Now, the reason I bring that up this time is because earlier, when Mutrus won that 1v4, they immediately went for an A rush. Now, they can't just do that again off of the high impact round, but they do want to do the same idea. So this time, they're doing an A rush, but this is a little bit delayed because Mutrus is going to get the instant outside smoke stone for him, and then he's going to run into Mini. Now, he is sprinting up until here. He gets, he just walks right through the Mini smoke. His teammates are coming through. They're just now throwing that utility, by the way. They're just now throwing the utility like it's an A hit, and Mutrus has walked in. Now, he gets the kill onto Frozen. Kerrigan spams, and Mutrus gets another one. Look at that. The round is already looking like it's over. Rain steps out, and he goes down. 4-on-2. Again, really, really cool strat from Saw. I love this. Like, again, this is another one of those things where I'm just saying, like, I like that they just go for this confidence play. You know who else calls like this? Kerrigan. Remember what I was saying earlier about Kerrigan's known for just like those, we're just gonna send it, this is the round, boys, you believe in me, we're gonna win, this is what we need to do. This is like, I could see Kerrigan doing the exact same thing here. And not only could I see FaZe doing this and Kerrigan calling a strat like that, they actually do that. The first round that they're on T side, we get a pretty early A pop that comes in. Now, the problem is that this is a Kerrigan classic. And what's happening here is we're actually going to be faking an A hit. So I'm going to play it from, I guess, up here. This is a good spot to watch all this stuff happen. So we're going to watch. The A hit's going to come in, right? That's what it is. It's an A hit. We got the mollies. One of them misses. Everybody gets forced out. Lots of flashes. It's just a fake. But it's actually not a fake, because what's happening here is the rest of the guys are going to creep up ramp, and Kerrigan is going to use the outside smokes that were thrown earlier in the round to maybe catch a timing into secret. The idea is all the rotates get pulled in to help A. Kerrigan can catch a gap down secret and then hold the vent rotation while the rest of the guys go ramp. That's the strat. It's a Kerrigan classic, really. The problem is it doesn't really work out that way for Kerrigan, because he's going to get caught trying to do that. Now, story is ramp with the op, which, by the way, is insane that he starts here with the op. It's a perfect round for him to do that. Now, he's going to find one onto Rops. Eventually, he will go down, but not all hope is lost for FaZe. Not quite yet, anyway. Now, U-Jerks is lower. He also has a teammate that's supporting him here. Opens the door. U-Jerks finds one, and they're already all in position. FaZe has been completely outplayed here. There's nothing that he can do. There's nothing that either of them can do here to pull this round back. And U-Jerks looking for more, just trying to maintain that pressure. He wants them to look at him because he knows his teammate can open this double door, fight from control. He just makes it really hard for him to win. And look at this. This is basically unwinnable for Rain. There's just nothing he can, again, nothing he can do. They just play it perfectly. And now we have the final round of the game. This is going to be the round where Saw secured their semifinal spot. Now, it's been a very scrappy game for FaZe, and so far they've proven that they can always come back. If you're Saw in this position, the setup that you're about to do either needs to be something you're very safe with, very confident setup that you have, or it needs to be something risky, something that you can catch FaZe off with right here one more time. You need to just do it one more time, and then you win. So, what do they decide to do? Well, They're going to go for a risky play. On the CT side so far, they have not done anything like this. Mutrus is going to get towards back red, and he's going to have his teammate Story baiting for him. He's going to get set up in this position. He knows FaZe has been throwing outside smokes almost every single round that they've been doing this. He knows that. This is a closer. He's going to wait. Outside smokes are thrown. Now he just needs them to not check him. Rain actually finds Story on the HE. They think that that's it. Now Roman, it's very important for him to make a little sound cue here. He needs to do anything that he can to make it so that they don't think that Mutrus could be here. He throws a nade. That's all he needs to do. Now, there is no chance that they're expecting this. Not a single chance in this world. He gets the first one, Mutrus. Now he checks behind him, knows that there's a lot of pressure here, somehow finds the second one. Look at that. It's already been done. A lot of damage onto Brokey as well. That's all that they needed. All that they needed. 3-on-3 with info. Bomb is outside and he's alone. Big deal here. Now Roman doesn't want to panic. He knows he could take that fight, but if he dies, the round is over. Now Arrows, he's been a super solid A anchor all game. By the way, for all of you A anchors, I would highly recommend watching this guy's POVs. He's very, very smart. He's in this position right now, kind of bouncing back and forth because he wants to go outside just in case he needs to help. But by the way, he's coming out to heaven because in case he needs to spot for the lobby lurk, which was Rops, to have taken this timing into J-Hall, he can see him at the bottom of the ladder. But also, if Roman ends up fighting Brokey crossing with the bomb here, he will be in heaven to help his teammate, right? So he's in the right position. It just so happens that as he is crossing back into heaven, he spots Kerrigan, but that's not Rops. So that means that Rops still has to be somewhere in lobby, and we know Brokey was outside. Now we know where both of them are. Off the back of this, you're going to see Jerks now knows, so he's going to try to make his way into the vent as fast as or I guess up secret. I misremembered. Arrows is dropped into the back of the site. Rops goes for it. All on the line. He steps out and tries to get this kill. He knows that he's alone. Roman was the guy that naded from Mini, and Jerks has been down lower a few times. We know he's got to be alone. Jerks is the ramp player. He steps out. The entire game on the line, and he loses the fight. Well, Brokey 1-on-3 situation now. They know he's low. They know he's low, and Brokey, he's just going to send it. He has nothing else he can do. He needs to just try to get down the vent, and he tries his best. He makes it. We're hot on his tail. Don't give him any room to breathe. Don't give him a single second to even try. Brokey does really good at managing everything. He mollies off everybody. He has the entire 1v1 that he could want here. He has isolated Jerks, goes for the tap. Again, Jerks reveals himself. And Arrow, he's just hunting. He's already found two, and he pre-fire one-taps Brokey right into the semifinals of Cologne. This SAW team is something special. This isn't just a random best of 3 victory over FaZe. This is not necessarily a fluke performance at this event. They've been playing super solid Counter-Strike this entire time. A 2-0 over G2. One map off of Na'Vi, and a pretty convincing, showing from them there. And now, a best of 3 victory versus FaZe. On stage, no less. This team is super legit, and I'm very excited to see them play tomorrow in the semifinals. If you guys did enjoy the demo review, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you watched this far, also leave a like. Let me know your favorite part of the review. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be responding to most of the comments that have questions. And yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Much love. See you guys.